Democratic presidential candidate Martin O'Malley, when confronted last month by protesters from the group Black Lives Matter, said all lives matter. O'Malley then apologized for that comment. Take a look.
I believe what I first said was that Black Lives Matter before those other two phrases. And when I said those other two phrases, I meant no disrespect.
The subject came up in my sit-down with Donald Trump, and you're about to watch part 2 of that interview, where we talk about the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as the hectic, busy life of a presidential candidate. You are everywhere. You don't look tired. Why?
Because I'm enjoying it. It's nice to be number one. We're going to set this nation on a new course. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be so good again. People are so discouraged. When you look at what's going on in Baltimore and Ferguson and St. Louis and all of the things,
how are you going to resolve that?
First of all, you need spirit. There's such a divide. I thought that Obama, the one thing I said, you know what? He's inexperienced. He doesn't know a lot about, he's never produced a job. But I said, one thing he's going to be a great unifier, because he had a chance to be a great unifier, and instead he's been a great divider. And the country needs spirit. The country does not have spirit. We're not proud anymore, and we have to be proud again.
So you will support law enforcement as opposed to some of the things that have been coming out of the White House?
Total support of law enforcement. You have to. And you can always have bad apples. I see things on television that I hate to see. It's horrible. It's horrible, and they're disgusting. That's a tiny little fraction. Law enforcement does an incredible job overall, and we have to support law enforcement. You can't let a city like Baltimore be ripped apart one evening. The first evening, they ripped the entire city apart. It'll take 20 years for it to come back the way they do it. I mean, the way it's happened. But they ripped that city apart in one night. You have to grab hold of your law enforcement and make sure they do a great job. But they have to be tough. They have to be tough. They have to be fair. They have to be tough. And you have to remember, and I said it, you're always going to have some bad apples. No matter where you go, you're going to have some bad apples. And that's going to happen. But we have to really support law enforcement.
What about the Black Lives Matter movement? I mean, what's your take on that whole thing?
Well, I know nothing about it. I'm seeing lots of bad stuff about it right now, actually. I thought when O'Malley made the statement that Black Lives, then he said white lives matter, all lives matter. And
then he apologized.
And then he apologized like a little baby, like a disgusting little weak, pathetic baby. And that's the problem with our country. I don't even think when you say politically correct, I think it's politically incorrect what he did. How can that be politically correct? But when I watched him apologize, and then he had a news conference in front of my building in Las Vegas because he thought he was going to get publicity. It was actually just a good ad for me. But when I watched that whole thing going on and how they're pandering, I think it's a disgrace.
Well, one of the things that Americans see in you is someone who digs his heel in and doesn't apologize, irrespective of the political or considered politically correct situation.
Let me ask you this. How can you apologize when you say all Black lives matter, which is true.
Right.
White lives matter, which is true. All lives matter, which is true. And then they get angry because you said white and all.
Yeah.
We don't want you to mention that.
Right. Right.
What's there to apologize for?
Okay. Jury duty. You were excused. You wouldn't write down that you were a politician. What did you say that your employment was?
I said I'm in the real estate business. I'm a politician. Now, can you believe this? I never thought in a million years I'm a politician. So I will be a politician who will not be all talk, no action.
All right. This election is a long way away, 2016. Do you think there's a point when the honeymoon is over?
Probably, maybe. It's no honeymoon. This has been a tough time. Don't forget, when I announced, the press covered me very inaccurately because, you are great and some others. Look, I've met some incredible political reporting and media, but a lot of it is very dishonest. And I was covered very dishonestly. I have great relationships with Mexico and the Mexican people, but they made it like they didn't report what I said. They reported half sentences, 1/3 of a sentence. And, that was no honeymoon that first week and a half. Then it turned out it was illegal immigration, and it turned out I was right.
Right. And repeatedly,
and now
you were being shown as being
it's become the biggest subject now.
I asked my Facebook followers what question they would put to you. And they said, ask Mr. Trump how he's going to deal with Congress. If he doesn't like them, is he going to just say, you're fired?
No, I'm not going to do that. I know many of these people. I've been dealing with them for many years. You know that. I've been a very political person. And frankly, if you can deal in New York City politics, you can probably deal anywhere in the world. I have huge, massive developments approved going through New York City zoning where I have to deal with people that are, to put it mildly, very difficult. But I've been in politics all my life for a long time, for many years. And it's leadership. You have to get people to do, Ronald Reagan got along with Tip O'Neill. They were total opposites, but they had this great relationship in a certain way. They got things done. That'll happen with me too. I won't need executive orders. That'll happen with me too.
And with respect to those people in Congress, you're going to take them on the golf course. You're going to show them a way of life that they've never seen before.
Well, it's interesting. When Obama plays golf, I think it's fine. I think it's good. It's an important thing. It's a great tool. But he should be playing with Boehner, and he should be playing with people that are going to help him close the deal, as opposed to be playing with friends that, he might enjoy that even more. But you can use golf as a tool, and he should have used it as a tool. He would have signed far fewer, in my opinion, executive orders.
Okay, and finally, Vice President.
Well, it's just too soon.
I know, but as you look at the field, the other 16 or 17, is there anyone in that field, as they start building you up amazingly and agreeing with you, whether it's Cruz or Jindal or Walker, everybody's kind of coming to your side of things. Do you see a potential VP candidate among those other Republicans?
Well, that could be. Look, there are people that I have great respect for on that stage that we just left, where they gave me #1 rating. That was very good. That made me feel good. But frankly, there are people that I have great respect for, and
on that
there
stage.
And elsewhere.
On that stage.
On that stage too. I have people that I have great respect for.
Are you going to focus on the swing states that will make a difference?
You know what I'm going to focus on? I'm going to focus on the whole country, on making our country great, and that's what we have to do. I'm not going to focus on any specific place. I go to New Hampshire, I go to Iowa, I go to South Carolina. Every poll is coming in. New Hampshire #1, Iowa #1, South Carolina, Texas just came in. I'm #1 in Texas.
They love you in Texas.
I'm #1 in Florida. That just came in.
Where do you get this confidence from, Donald?
I don't think it's confidence. I think I just believe in what I'm doing. I don't even view it as confidence. I believe so strongly in what I'm doing. Our country, I love my company and my children, and we have fun, and I built a great company. Don't forget, people said, oh, maybe I'll never file. Then I filed my financials, and they were far greater than anybody ever thought possible even. It's an amazing company. It's got great cash flow. It's got everything. It's got the best properties. But there's something much more important going on, and that's the country. And I just think I'm going to do a great job. And when you say confidence, I don't think it's confidence. I just believe in what I'm saying. And we can turn this country around. We can create jobs. We have 93 million people unemployed. It's a phony statistic when they say 5.4%.
Right.
We have 93 million. We have millions and millions of people on food stamps, and just a terrible situation going on in this country. It's a phony reporting system where they can say 5.4. It could be 40%. The actual number could be actually 40%, and nobody wants to report it. I actually saw a report that said 42%. I always say 20, 21% unemployment. We can turn that. We can take the jobs back from China. We can take the jobs back from Japan, from Mexico. Nabisco shouldn't be moving to Mexico. They should be building a new plant somewhere in our country.
Big question. Melania. She is beautiful. She's classy. She's stunning. I know her. When is America going to get a real look at Melania? And she's an incredibly
she's a tremendous person.
Woman.
Yeah, she's a tremendous person. She was a very successful person, and she will be an amazing first. I've heard people say, I don't care if you're president, but she has to be first lady, which is sort of an interesting little statement to make. But she will
there it is, a man benefiting by the woman that he's with.
But she is a beautiful person, but she's a beautiful person in the heart. She cares tremendously about women's health issues. She has just a great, you know her very well.
Yeah.
She's a tremendous person. People will love her when they get to know her.
My thanks to GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump for a very revealing interview.